YouTube, Damo_23 here, and welcome back to another episode of Glory Hunter. In today's episode, we're going to have the brand new season get underway. We're going to discuss the transfers and etc. as well. I don't think I filmed a part for this actual episode itself. I have not. Didn't know if last night's cut into this. I do believe with the FA Cup final we talked about a couple of these players. But in today's episode, we're going to show you what the squad looks like, players to keep an eye on, and then positions that we are going to look to sign. With that being said, and without further ado, give the episode a like, do subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hopefully we have a really good time with it. First, we've got a couple of players joining us here, which I did mention in yesterday's episode, but maybe you guys may have not seen. Firstly, Kane Fuller, who's currently away with Australia on the Australian national side. I did mention it. He was in the championship, played 30 games, 30 starts for Charlton at the ripe old age of 18. He is a fantastic wonder kid. As I mentioned, anything there that's 12 plus is going to get to 15. I went and broke that down in the last episode. Before the FA Cup final, there's potential for anywhere to be 20 to 22 stats at 15 plus. The most I've ever had is 21. He could potentially be our best ever well-rounded player that I've ever used on Football Manager. With that being said, he'd be an awesome pressing forward as well, but we would be playing him in the hole, and he's going to be making his way into the squad breakdown that I'm about to give you. Second player here is another player that I did show you that we signed yesterday from Next Gen and all my scouting from Next Gen. If you didn't see last episode, we did get top 3 in the Next Gen, and that second player is Fernando Reyes, who for me, I think we're going to put him in the under 21s to start with, see how he develops, and then probably will make his way to the bench. I feel like he's a very usable and a very good footballer, and by the end of the year could be like Thomas Garcia this year and could become really good. If you have a look at both of them there, both don't come in ahead of Thomas Garcia as well, and that leads us straight into the squad and us speaking about the squad here. So I've picked my best squad. I am going to go and I'm definitely going to put Fuller into this team because I think he's outrageous, and then we're going to see what we can do. So first things first, the first 11 would stay as it is for now, which obviously is on screen. I've got no issues with it. Anyone 3-star or better is a good Premier League player and arguably leading. Obviously, I've looked at maybe signing a left back, but if you really look at breakdown Luke Thomas, I think he's very all-rounded and quite fantastic. So I don't think there's a reason to, and he's homegrown in English. So I really think this year is going to be us focusing on signing younger talent that can either impact the game or maybe if the worst world-class player comes available that we would go for, because we still have to win the Premier League, the Carabao Cup, and the Champions League, and I do think if we start focusing on youth too quickly, we won't be able to do that. The bench is where things become a little bit more interesting. Now, Jacob's a great player to have. I'll have to mention him because I'm about to speak about another player. I don't think there's any issue. Homegrown at Leicester. Leicester brought him at a young age. I want to keep him around for as long as possible. Obviously, we have Reyes, we have Popov, but if you go to the 18s, you do have even Ramos, who I will look to give game time to eventually. He is a 5-star, 16-year-old goalkeeper. Obviously, with this turning into a bit more of a youth, homegrown sort of challenge later down the track, once we won everything, he's going to be super important because it's sometimes very hard to find keepers at a young age that want to come to you and get work permits. So yeah, obviously he is a player that we are looking at in the future as well. In terms of the rest of the team, James Justin's a weird one. We could actually go for a younger English right back. Now James is English, which kind of helps with the homegrown thing, and he's very good for the Champions League. Obviously, I highlighted last episode there was a potential guy from Southampton. I'm not currently live on stream. I've come home from work and gone to poker and come home. So this is something I will discuss on stream probably tomorrow night after I go out for dinner. But yeah, obviously a player I need to look at. Harry Souttar and Demirel, obviously two fantastic players, but I do want to bring up Marcos Vinicius. I think this guy's ready and prime for first team football. So if a big comes in for Demirel or big comes in for Jose Marshall, we might sell to allow Vinicius to jump into the team, get more starts, because I really think if he starts starting, he will turn into a very world-class centre-back with how well-rounded he is. Outside of that as well, you've got O'Connell. Now, I think this experiment has waned and has finished. I also think if we sign a right back, we move James Justin to a backup left back, which, look, being fairly strong-footed either side, does work as well. I might even just do this because I think that might be the plan. Only thing is we do have young Giuliano, who is fantastic and obviously developing. I do think he's more well-weighted wing in the under-21s for another couple of seasons though. And we do have a guy called Zand, who people will know that we had on loan this year, who's had a very good time at crew, very well-rounded in mental and physicals, but I really do think he's someone for the future. So straight off the bat, I'm looking at maybe a backup right back who's quite young and quite well-rounded, or giving Giuliano some minutes. Outside of that, though, Alex Scott and Drewsbury Hall, I really do think Alex Scott probably should stick around a touch more because he is 22 and got plenty of time. Drewsbury Hall obviously is very homegrown and has been at Leicester for ages as well. I just think we've got quite a quartet of young ball-winning midfielders, etc., coming through that eventually we have to make way for. I just don't think this year's the year. I think they can all go and play under 21 minutes. I think these two guys will play another cycle of rotation football and eventually get to the stage where we sell them on when these kids are a little bit more well-rounded. With that being said, we've got obviously Drew Adam Lynch in the hole. Darren Cole was actually holding a spot here for Fuller, which I think is fine. Lynch obviously fantastic, don't need to speak about him too much, he's obviously good. Fuller we talked about. Now Yaya was on loan this season and he was on loan at Montpellier. Played well, 12 starts, looks pretty good. However, hasn't kicked on in terms of form. I just think he's too good to not be playing right now. I know we got Thomas Garcia here, who's our best prospect, but I think Rochelle Yaya, if he develops properly and develops really well, could be an outrageous footballer and could be pushing, probably not a Son for a spot, but could maybe push someone else out of a spot, for instance, and then get himself in there and then move the Son back either to a defensive midfielder role or in the hole or something like that. Obviously, Silva's very important there too. Obviously, a fantastic footballer. We do have the lights, of course, of Phillips to get in, Stavro as well. We do have the couple of youngsters here in Nalef coming in as well that can play up front. And we do have now Dino too, who I think will definitely play under 21 minutes once he comes here as an 18-year-old, where Reyes, who we mentioned at the start, could definitely get into the squad. So with that being said, I actually don't think there's a lot for us to do. I really feel like even though we've got money in the club at 75 mil, it's sign a right back, and I've got one in mind, someone that will grow into maybe being as good as Livramento, if not better. And if he does grow that quickly for the guy I'm thinking about, we then move Livramento to left back, Stroll Thomas to the bench, and we sell James Justin. With that being said there too, obviously this squad is very much dependent on how others grow in the under-21s, and this is where I've got to mention in the under-21 league this year, if we go to the matches or you go to the fixtures, they made it all the way to the under-21 final. As you can see here, they were champions in this stage here in the Premier Division. But if you have a look at the Cup division, our under-21s did win the Cup, which is awesome. Obviously, we need to get them to win the league and consistently doing that for one of the goals of the save. In terms of our boys here, they made the Youth Cup final. We went back-to-back in that, which is fantastic. And in the Division 1 final, we won that in the 18s as well. If you go to all groups, we topped our South group by 10 points over Man United. We did lose 4 games, and mainly they were against United, home and away. And then the boys beat Chelsea in the final. So we've had an under-18s win, and we've had the under-18s won the cup. So they did the double, and our under-21s won the cup, which is fantastic. Now we need this to consistently happen, get these boys developing and playing in much better, with much better players. Our players are developing. We also need to get some of these guys into the first team. But as it stands, the squad's not going to change too much. We're still focusing on winning the Cabaret Cup in the league. I feel like the squad that we have right now is very close to doing so. And we have a good run in the Champions League. Who knows what we could do. But I do think this is the year we start bleeding in a few more of these kids. The Yayas, the Fullers, the Silvers. Start getting more minutes. And hopefully this man, big man Velez, keeps developing as he is. Keeps a few more goals because he did get 8 and 15. And we could have a very good year this year. I'll see you guys for any future potential signings, etc. as well. And of course, who we will play on the opening day.
YouTube, welcome in. A very dark and background here. It's because it's very early in the morning and we've jumped on the computer. We've simmed a few days, and Sam Carter is your first big signing of this episode. 37.5 mil release fee from Southampton. He's the guy I've been mentioning. So that's the guy that we went for there. 35 games in the Premier League and a relegated side at a 6.75. He is an Englishman. He's 19 years of age, so homegrown for a long part of this save for the Champions League. As you can see here, very well rounded in terms of stats. He looks fantastic and a player that I'm definitely going to give some game time to as the backup right back. But he's also got a fairly decent left foot, and I do think if we train him, he could be better than Luke Thomas on the left-hand side as well. If you have a look at him though, anything, especially being 19, anything probably 13 plus is definitely going to get the 15s. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Could be 21 stats.
Now, that's obviously a guy, but if he hits 21 total stats, he's arguably one of our better players that we've used on FM. We always say that that's the algorithm and they probably hit 19 or 18. It all just depends on how it all develops. Stuff like teamwork takes, ages to develop if it develops over time. Etc. But yeah, look, obviously a fantastic footballer. He did have a bid from Newcastle, which he decided to come to me instead. I think that's because we've been making the Champions League a lot and we're offering him a regular starting role. So fantastic player to be bringing into the football club. Got to put him on the bench straight away. However, I think if we're allowed to develop his left foot, because it is still very, very good, even though the left foot is the left foot, it's still a very good left foot. If I can develop his weaker foot, I think there's a way to do that in here somewhere. Wouldn't see any benefit apparently, because it's already fairly reasonable. As you can put him out on the other side here, as an inverted wing back, don't get me wrong, he would be fantastic, but I do think as a wing back on attack, bumming up and down, he still looks outrageously good as well. I'm definitely going to get him training to throw himself into some tackles with the bravery and the tackling, get the marking up, etc. as well. I think this guy is going to be a next level of gravy and someone we'll definitely have a look at as well. Always good to see Vella's playing in the World Cup at the moment as well. Any excuse to look at my 6'7" striker, isn't it? And I'll see you guys for another signing, hopefully, or maybe no signings, because the squad is actually in a really good spot. All right, YouTube. Here we are. We actually have a sale this time now that we're here. It's an important player that I want to speak about because we had some fun with this guy and I love him to bits, but with the progression of this save, he's no longer the most usable player in the squad. And that's Geraint Qual. You might be saying it's still dark, Damien. What's going on? It's actually the next day after filming the last part. That's how busy we've been. I haven't been on stream for a few days, but links down below because I'll be streaming most of the weekend. With that being said though, Geraint, as you can tell from here, he is not developed once. His stats did not change once. And the reason he's only a decent Premier League player is because of the form. Now, he obviously had that outrageous where he got 23 and 33 for us. European Golden Boy. Unfortunately, didn't win next gen. He probably should have. Lost to Pedri. We had so many great moments, and sometimes FM's about having fun, and this is the reason we signed him because I've never used Geraint Qual. I've never seen him develop on FM, and then proceeded to watch the guy for 3 years never develop with game time. As you can see, last year he played 11 games for me, 9 off the bench, 3 goals. Never was consistent, in terms of injuries, etc. So to get 16.75 mil for him is probably on the overs as well. So I was pretty happy when Udinese came in for that. I think he will start for Udinese and get some game time, but he deserves his own little moment in the episode. Also, because I'm not live on a stream, the boys, when I go live, are going to be devastated by this because we love Geraint. But yeah, obviously, he's on his way out to Udinese, and hopefully he has a really good career because usually on FM, you don't see this guy doing stuff. But look, we've got other Australians. We've got Suter, who isn't leaving because he's very good at what he does. We've got Kane Fuller, who is definitely going to be playing minutes, etc. as well. And yeah, look, we're doing very, very, very well. Did they just say Kane Fuller's got 3-star potential? This game, sometimes, when it comes to the potential of players, is a little bit dumb. I do not understand that. This kid is 19 years of age with those mentals and those physicals. There's no way he's only going to be 3-star. Look, form dictates that all as well. So hopefully he gets good form. Definitely going to sink my time into him. But yeah, I'll see you guys on the flip side for probably... you guys have seen the Community Shield a bit. I got Middlesbrough on the opening day, then Liverpool. I might give you guys Liverpool as a second game of the season in this episode. Welcome back, YouTube. Wembley here, Community Shield. Deciding to give you that instead of Liverpool game on match day number 2. I don't think we're going to sign anyone else, so we're just going to talk about the team in its entirety. Livramento actually makes the media dream 11 out at left back, which is a bit interesting. Our best player, though, is still Emmanuel Smith-Rowe. If you have a look at the season preview, yet again predicted to finish 8th like last year. They actually think new signing Carter, who I've shown you starts on the left. Rooney plays in the team, who I'm looking to maybe sell. Outside of that, I'm very disappointed with... I just feel like it's just this database. Maybe because I've got an updated database, the person who created it messed around with the potentials or how training is. So when Kane Fuller joined us, he was a 4-star player. He's playing in a world-class facility, played in pre-season. Apparently he declines. Right, okay, makes sense. Shouldn't do, but anyway. Silva, yet again, it's taking him forever to develop. Lynch is a 5-star player. We had a guy in Glory Hunter called Lewis Brown. Came out very similar type of player. He developed into a world-class player with this 5-star potential. By the time he was 19 and 20, he was playing for West Ham. right? Here with Lynch, I've been bleeding him minutes and giving him minutes, and all he does is he develops, and then by the end of the year, it all declines again, and that makes no sense. I have got facilities right now, all state of the art, it's perfect. I'm getting very worried that, our long term was to build all this young talent, etc. But I find it very disingenuous, or I find it very disheartening that all the players that I pick, and I've got all those great regions that glory on it that developed into world class players and whatever, that I'm getting here, develop for a season, and then right at the end of the season, all decline back to where they were before. No progression on any players. It's really poor. I'm worried for the likes of Velez that might never develop properly and stuff like that. Hopefully not the case, but from what I can tell, unless they're a real life player in the match engine that was young, this database doesn't seem to develop any player. I'm very worried that Sam Carter was on his way to being a world-class fullback at Southampton. If he doesn't develop in the next 2 years into a starting world-class player, then no one in the state's got any hope. And I'm really worried. Anyway, let's talk about the Community Shield. That's what obviously my best 11 and my best bench would be. Very similar to last year, because it's the same team as last year on paper. But the bench, obviously, you've got Carter that makes his way to the bench. Lynch has not developed, but he should be a much better footballer. Fuller was 5-star when I signed him, 4-star when he joined, and now declined. Apparently he's not going to develop anymore, and he's declining. Still hope that all these stats, all these mentals bar positioning, all these physicals bar jumping reach will get the 15s, which would make him incredible. But yet the game reckons maybe not. And Yaya has been the same thing. He went out on loan, he got all these positive development, and then just before his loan, had a slight dip and decrease. It's really, really, really odd. You have a look at the progress of attributes, no changes, apparently over a loan spell. You have a look at the Lynch, for instance, who's been here maybe a little bit longer. Look at attributes for all time, right? And when you look at it like that, apparently we've seen increases. We've seen a 5, we've seen a 4s and 3s. But look at the physicals, barely any change. Look at the mentals, technicals, barely any change. There is no progress. Look at this. Yep. Decrease. Right at the end of the season, always getting a decrease. It makes no utter sense. It is really odd. Let's go and have a look at at Silver. Looking good, massive drop. If you look at attributes and you're looking at attribute change of all time, right? Some slight changes, but nothing major. A 1-1 in technicals. His technicals hasn't grown in all year. It's very, very odd. I don't understand. I'm doing the same training that I've been doing last 2 years on FM. Same training that I had with Roman Tisney and Aristobal and Lewis Brown and all them from Glory Hunter. I'm doing the same amount of training that I did in my youth only challenge with 1860. A couple data games ago, you name it, nothing changed. In terms of the squad though, we're not 100% fit. We're World Cup year, so a few less friendly games. Usually in a World Cup year, the players shoot up in fitness pretty quick. Barely any fitness from any of them, so hopefully they get fit by the start of the season. Started bringing in a couple more under-21 friendlies to get the rest of the teams fit as well. But yeah, in terms of the squad, I don't think I'm going to buy anyone. I think we're kind of at that point. I did reject 35 mil from Barcelona for Demirel, who wants to go for 46 plus, which I will do. And yeah, then I'll just probably use Vinicius. But this database has been weird. Players don't develop. People decline instead of progress. It makes no sense as Velez hits the bar there. Would have been nice to go 1-0 up against Liverpool in the Community Shield. But yeah, have a look at the team. Aranjo, Nunes, Salah, Savic, Gavi, Fabinho, Robertson, Van Dijk, Canate, Trent. It's the same Liverpool team we play every year. So yeah, they're world class. They're one of the best teams in the world. It is what it is. Livramento finds a son. Goes all about that to Tomori. I have tried with floated crosses and stuff, but apparently our gameplay is awful. Look, you put it on floated crosses, Smith Rowe scores 1-0. That highlight doesn't happen. Instead of us giving it to Livramento being in the ball, we will actually just start launching balls long into the box, miles high, and the keeper will just come clean. And we'll get the occasional one where it'll be a knockdown header. So I'd much rather leave it on short passing, which probably, and low crosses, which allows for that to maybe happen a bit more. And Velez is just missing out on maybe some aerial stuff. Doesn't jump much for 6'7". He shouldn't even need a jump. He should just win every header, and he misses out on a lot. We've also tried backstick corners. Doesn't seem to really do too much either in pre-season as well. So just going to leave everything as it is in terms of the system, which Yeah, look, maybe if we go another go up, I'll show you what it looks like. But yeah, anyway, good press from us here. San now Reborn and Lavia. Elise looked offside. Yeah, it is offside. That goes in, I'll show you what floated crosses look like. But yeah, that ball, unfortunately, was well played way too late for Elise's run. Not like Elise really had any opportunity to be onside. But yeah. Liverpool having the better of the game according to the stats, but we lead 1-0. We've never won the Community Shield, so this would be nice to start it. Smith Rowe's out. I'm actually going to give Kane Fuller his debut. He's gone from 5-star for when we scouted him to 4-star for when he's joined to 3-star, and that's a potential maybe doesn't even grow past 3-star. It is really odd for a guy that could have 21, 22 stats 15 plus. Makes no sense. But young Fuller comes into the hole. Yeah. With that being said, after 60 minutes played, I'm also going to give Carter for Thomas, who's learning to play left back because he might actually take over Thomas's spot. Lavia for Drewsbury Hill. We'll do that as well. I'm going to give Lynch for Elise too because he's already fit. And Yaya's going to get some minutes as well because he's already fit, and be nice to see how Yaya goes. A few changes there to keep fresh legs, getting people fit and ready to go for the rest of the season. Clean sheet, we win the Community Shield, which would be nice. I mutter those words, and here comes Gavi. Headed away for Binio now. Good ball to Virgil. Enrique Ranjo. Salah looked off. The flag's already up, and there's no VAR, so this is going to be disallowed. As you can see, Salah is off by a mile, as far as offside as Elise. Going to look to play out the press, which is fine. Drewsbury Hill finds Jose Marsh and needs to find a midfielder dropping in. Steady looks long for Velez, who knocks down, but Thuram didn't read. It was actually well played by Velez. Darwin Núñez is going to score now on the break. Melier what to say, but this one falls to Salah, and Salah's onside. Maybe our streak of winning the Community... Well, maybe our streak. Maybe our chance of winning the Community Shield has just been shot on the foot. Still yet to win this competition. But yeah, Darwin and Aranjo played a ball through and is what it is. I think that actually comes down to Thuram not reading the game. It's a long ball that we're giving to Velez. He's 6'7". You're the midfielder that's meant to be facing forward. Get to the fucking ball. But yeah. Anyway, Velez with the ball. He finds Lynch. Lynch now finds Thuram. And he finds Livramento. And Livramento somehow gets his pocket pinched by Darwin. That's a ball and a half there. Don't know where the keeper's going, but fair enough. Yeah, that was a good ball by Connor Kelly on though. Liverpool probably arguably do deserve to be at least at 1-1. But yeah, yet again, just poor. No quality. Velez is on a 6. And he won't win this header because he doesn't win any headers. But Tamori does, and there we go. I don't know what it is, but when they're over like 6'4", they refuse to jump in the match engine. He just stands there. He just have a look at this again. He just stands there. Like, you're 6'7", any half jump and you win that header. Mercifully falls to Tamori, heads home 2-1, we lead. And another highlight now with Thuram now finds Tamori and Jose Marsha. But yeah, very weird. Melier again going long. Velez and Fuller and no one wanted it. But okay, boys, no one wanted it. It's a long ball to no one. Livramento wins. He's ball looking for Velez, needs to win the header. He jumps then, which is the main thing, but loses. Marshall gives it straight back to Liverpool as well. Liverpool going to score again. We're not allowed to win this Community Shield. This Community Shield is the bane of our existence. This in the League Cup. We can't win the Carabao Cup and we can't win the Community Shield. The two easier competitions to win. Yaya, the youngster from a long way out in the 88th minute. Can he beat Kelly from long range? It was a good save from Kelly, good hands. Are we going to get to a penalty shootout, or Liverpool going to hit us on the re-break here? You force them long, should be our ball, and it is. It's Thuram, it's Drewsbury Hall, it's Carter on his debut. Yaya picks it up, good touch, deflected back stick, Lynch heads home. Is he onside? 89th minute winners? Is that what we just witnessed? An 89th minute winner? If I now just try to set up shop, can we, please? Just to say that we won the Community Shield. Backstick ball, Lynch scores. The man that just declines every season instead of develop every season. But yeah, very weird save in terms of development. It's really annoying me that I've been watching pre-season and last few days and whatever, and there's nothing to speak about development-wise. Time ticks away. We actually win the Community Shield, so if you moan enough, you do eventually win it. In a game which, I don't think there should have been 5 goals in this game. I didn't think it had that quality. We do win 3-2. We'll take it. It's a win. It's a victory. We can add the Community Shield to the list of competitions that we won now, mercifully. I don't know what we're going to do with Velez, because when we float crosses, he doesn't jump the header. And when we put crosses on the floor, he has a 6.1 unless he scores early, and then he can go on a crazy display. Obviously, we'll be good enough one day to play no matter what the system is. But yeah, look, we win the game. Lynch scoring late. Good to see it from Lynch. But yeah, let me know if you're finding this in your saves since like the latest update or anything like that. Maybe it's just this, database. But yeah, when you come to think of it, Lynch has been playing with us now for 1, 2, 3. This is what will be his 5th season with us. So basically the whole time. And in the whole time with his development, he has not hit his, potential. I expect for a player like this to already be 3-star and to be a player knocking on my door to be starting games. I expect the crossing, the dribbling, the first touch, the passing, the technique to all be pretty close to 15s by now. I expect the mentals to be there too, but the mentals just don't do whatever. Let me know if you're finding an issue with growth. Let me know what you do with Velez to get him scoring, because he has too many games where he plays like horrid. So we've got to find him again, because why not find him? And yeah, let me know what you would do. Let me know if you're finding any other issues or anything like that as well. I'm finding it very, very concerning, and really putting a doubt on what I am going to do with this save long term, because none of the players seem to be developing. They seem to join, they seem to decline, they don't seem to progress, which is odd. With that being said though, guys, I'll see you guys next time for another episode. Thank you very much, and catch you guys later. Have a great one, and bye.